see you again.
Hey, hello.
So last time we talked about the plastic issue worldwide.
Yes, we did.
We talked about burning plastics, plastic on the land, plastic on the ocean.
Correct.
So today we're going to talk about agricultural waste.
Yeah, looking forward to tell you more and explain more about the agricultural sector.
Yeah, so last time you already said there's a lot that get burned, so plastic, rubber, but also agricultural waste. What is your experience with crop residue burning in Europe?
Well, over here, the crop burning is relatively not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at, for example, big wheat producers in Europe, like Ukraine, France, Germany, they are simply developed enough to pulp it, to shred it, and put it back over the ground so it becomes a nutrient, and new crops could grow on it. So if we look at the major producers over here in Europe, the processing of the waste after harvesting, it's really well arranged. It's well arranged.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's they're clever enough, and as Sean mentioned, they or pulp it, put it back into the ground, or spread it over the soil, so it's a nutrient. So
already some pretty good techniques.
Exactly. So and that's what we are experiencing as well. While speaking with farmers locally or in Europe itself, they say we do not experience that wheat residual is waste. Like in Asian countries, for example, it's all waste. So to be honest, in Europe itself, it's definitely not bad.
And then you're talking about Asia. How do you guys experiencing it outside Europe?
Outside Europe it's horrible, to be honest. And especially in India, because in India we have literally half of the residual wheat waste globally produced comes from India, and most important, got burned in India. So that's a massive issue because we produce over 700 million tons of wheat globally annually, and India is doing 107 million tons of it. As I mentioned, so they are together with China the biggest producer, but in Europe, for example, they pulp it, put it back into the ground. So India is literally doing half of it. We have 4 million tons of wheat waste globally, and India is doing 1.8. So in our opinion, that's a source, and in our opinion, we need to tackle the issue at the source. So
can you explain to me what the problems are with burning these crops?
Definitely.
Well, there are multiple problems with burning the crops. Firstly, obviously, all the carbon dioxide that gets emitted and gets into our atmosphere. It's burning up. It's warming up the globe. It's warming up the oceans. So that's one negative side effect. But on the other hand, also for the soil fertility, it's very negative. Due to the fact that they also burn their waste, the soil dries out. So it's not as fertile as it was. So it's not only bad for the environment regarding atmosphere and the global warming, but also for future crops and the yield that will come from the crops.
And do not forget that as soon as the temperature on Earth rises, that for every 1 degree Celsius, the grain yields production declines with 5%. So with other words...
So it's all just a negative spiral, because it's like burning crops in India especially, it's a massive problem because almost half, 42% of the greenhouse gases that get emitted in India is due to burning the stubbles. So it's just a massive problem that we really need to tackle.
So how I understand, it causes issues for climate change. It's also economically not very very good to have. But I can imagine that it can also cause like health issues, because pollution is not very healthy to inhale.
Last time we spoke about the plastic issue, for example. So as soon as people are burning their plastics, it ends up in or the food chain or in the air firstly, and then in the food chain. But the same happens with oxidants that are released during burning crops. So it's, as Sean mentioned, it's all a negative spiral that's connected with each other.
And we experienced it last year when we were there. It's
unbelievable.
Just, like we said last time as well, it was the first time that we were voluntarily wearing our mask even inside the hotel room. And I remember after a couple of days, we said to each other, like, we are really having a hard time breathing.
Mm-hmm.
It was you literally felt it into your lungs that it was not healthy.
And
I remember when we came back and we landed in Amsterdam, we went out of the airport, then we looked at each other and we said, this is clean air.
I only have been coughing for 10 minutes due to the fact that it was so fresh compared to India. And
that you had to get used to that again.
And we were literally in the peak during the harvesting season. So all the crops got burned literally 4 weeks before we arrived. And due to that fact, the index, literally the air index, was 490. So to give you an example and an idea, perspective, in Amsterdam, it's literally 21 currently. So the air is literally 20 times
But
worse.
That's so crazy, because for me, I already think that the air is like bad here.
Yeah.
But then in India it's like even worse.
Yeah, they compare it with a package of 50 cigarettes a day walking through Delhi. So you can imagine as soon as you arrive in Amsterdam again, and the air is literally compared to Delhi 20 times fresher than it is down there. Yeah, it's
and it was just
unbelievable.
like, do you remember that one time we were on a bridge and there was like a mosque or something was on the side and was not even 100 meters away. And you could see it vague, but you couldn't even see the front of the tower because it was just so vague due to the smoke. So it's and that's when we already think over here it's bad, but if you compare it with there, it's
and
it's
even when the sun is shining, you can't see the sun.
So that's true.
That's a wonderful example of
and last time we talked already a little bit about your products, but I want to ask again, like, what are you guys doing to help reduce this problem?
Of course, we help them with the plastics, as we mentioned last time, but with agricultural waste as well. Yeah. So for us, it's important to tackle the issue from the source until the compost bin. And that's what we do. We simply upcycle the residual wheat waste, so we prevent farmers from burning that trash, but we collect it, and in exchange for their little work, if they need to burn it and put it all together to burn it, or need to put it all together for a pickup from us, it doesn't really matter.
The same.
But they get at least a fair exchange for their trash. Yeah. So that's what we do. Afterwards, we sterilize it, and finally, it simply ends up in the compost bin. So they can throw it on the soil again instead of burning it and harming our.
And on the other hand, that's the part that we do about the agricultural waste, but indirectly we're also reducing the plastic pollution, the plastic that they use, due to the fact that we also distribute our products in India. So not only preventing them from burning the waste, but afterwards also giving back to them by offering natural solutions instead of having to use the plastic. So that's how we can decrease the amount of agricultural waste getting burned, and on the other hand also decreasing the amount of plastics getting used.
So it's a win-win situation, in our opinion.
Definitely. So you said you guys also sell them in India as well. Where else do you sell them? Where can you find your products?
Just as the same as here in the Netherlands and Europe, or globally, to be honest. Supermarkets, but also bigger chains and restaurants. And of course, the high-end restaurants are more able to invest in sustainable solutions, of course. So that's our target market. And for example, it's literally maybe 3 or 4% of the total market, while here in the Netherlands it's literally 70% what you can target, because everybody's getting aware. And in Europe in general, maybe 50% of 30 to 50% of Europe is getting more aware of the fact that we are on the verge of disaster. But that's what we target in India.
And that's true of Bas, that we are targeting those first adapters, those early adapters in India, because that's what Bas says is very true. They are not that wealthy over there, so we need to target the bigger corporates who do have budget to invest in sustainability. And if those first early adapters, they start using these products and start getting more sustainable, then the rest will follow as well. That's the same what happened in Europe, and now we're already advancing quite well in Europe, and that's the phase we are starting right now in India to make that movement as well.
So it could be possible that I go to the bar, like when COVID is over, I would go to the restaurant or bar, and then I will get my cocktail with one of your straws.
Yeah,
definitely
could be. And it's what Sean mentioned. The big corporates need to make the change in that kind of countries.
Yeah, because I can also see that your straws, like you have a few on the table, like they're all different in size. Like the length is the same, but the diameter is a little different.
As you can imagine, for example, when you take them from the field, it's literally like the wheat stem. So you have a wheat stem from approximately 80 centimeters to 1 meter, and sometimes even less.
Yeah.
And what happened is literally that the grains are taken, for example, for bread, for beer. We all know where we use it for. And lastly, they take off a piece for the kettles.
Yeah.
And it's enough for a year. So they literally take off 1/3, but that's enough for over a year. So what do they do at the rest? They simply burn it. And you can imagine it's like an arm length. And what we do, we literally take out of two 23 centimeter straws or three 20 centimeter straws out of one stem. And that's the reason that simply the stems, the straws are not all equal, because the stem on the bottom is much wider than it is on the top.
Yeah.
So to be honest, it makes every straw unique.
And that's really the charm about the product as well.
And that's the charm. And of course, we cannot influence the diameter of the natural straw at the moment, because it's ranging from 3 to 7 millimeters in diameter. But currently, we are developing in collaboration with our platinum partner Gemelot, and we are trying to achieve a straw with a thicker diameter. But we don't want to talk too much about it because it's a little bit secret. But for
exciting things are coming up. Definitely,
exciting things are coming up, and we would like to serve the entire market, because now with this product we can serve 70% of the market. So for example, sodas, drinks, hot drinks, cold drinks, it's suitable for everything. But we see as soon as it goes in a juice or in a milkshake, it gets a bit difficult. And with the 23 centimeter straws, it's pretty okay, because it's coming from the down part of the wheat stem, so they are all thicker in general. But therefore, to serve the rest, the other 30%, so that's healthcare, fast food, and that juice bars and milkshakes bars, we simply want to be able to influence the diameter and help people with the most environmentally friendly and only compostable product on the market now.
And that's for us really important as well, because as Bas mentioned, fast food and healthcare are two target markets which we cannot serve with this straw. But on the other hand, they are the biggest polluters, because they are the biggest users of single-use plastics. So we don't only want to tackle the problem at the source regarding the residual waste, which is India, but on the other hand, we also want to tackle the problem at the source regarding the biggest polluter in usage. And that's why it's really important for us to keep developing and also be able to serve those giants, which are also the biggest polluters, and be able to tackle the problem at the source.
So you guys are already developing some new interesting stuff that you cannot talk about right now.
Some things we can talk about. For example, some cutlery and plates. That's some.
Because you said that it comes from the stem. Do you need to do a lot? Do you have to process the product a lot? What is the? Can you explain a little bit about the process? How you make these straws? Do you only cut them, or?
Let Sean zoom into it. It's adjustable.
It's actually that's what I love about it as well. It's actually a really easy process.
Yeah.
Like Bas explained, you have the stems like they are from the field. The upper part gets used, the grains, the lower part, and everything in between just remains at this stem. We clean them from the inside, so all the dirt that might be in it gets washed away. Then we sterilize them to kill the bacteria. And like Bas said, it gets cut in the desired length. If it's 15, 20 or 23 centimeters, just with a cutter, we cut it, and that's already the straw as it is. So we do not have to manufacture it or whatever. It's literally already in the name, as we always say, because it's a straw. It is literally a straw.
It's a straw, how it all started.
And that's what we always say as well. We just give it a phase in between. First, it's a stem as a grain that we use. Afterwards, it's a nutrient for the soil again, where new crops could be grown on, and we give it a phase in between as a valuable drinking straw.
Yeah, because moving on a little bit from the straw to like the cotton swabs, because you have like them over here. Yeah. I can imagine that this is like a little bit thick for the cotton swabs to use.
Exactly.
Do you use then like a higher part or a different part
to
get these?
What we do at the moment is literally like adjust. What we literally do is adjusting them. But now we need to produce them, and of course we know that there are more carbon dioxide emissions released during a manufacturing process than an adjusting process. But although we mentioned in our first podcast regarding the plastic issue that a lot of alternatives on the market nowadays are sourced from our trees, and it is coming from our trees that aren't able to absorb the carbon dioxide emissions anymore. But lastly, it ends up in an oven where it got burned. So we prefer releasing the same carbon dioxide emissions, or maybe a bit more, during the process, but throwing it away in the compost bin where it ends up as a nutrient for the soil, and it doesn't as get burned again. Then doing it in that manner. So saving trees and upcycling agricultural waste. That's a win-win situation.
Yeah, because we also talked about the plastic ban that's starting in July, I think. First you had like these plastic cotton swabs. I do my makeup. So I use them a lot. I use them actually every day. But now I can see that already at Kruidvat or other stores, they started selling the paper ones, the paper versions as well. But the same that I said last time with the paper straws, what I noticed with the cotton swabs from paper is that it's not really strong.
Yeah, exactly. So
because sometimes I make them wet to like clean something up, but then when the paper gets wet, it's like
gets soggy.
It's broken and it's soggy. Yeah, that's what we see as well, and get back as a review from ladies who are doing a lot of makeup daily, and that's. Once again, I keep repeating it. It's coming from our trees. So except from the fact that it's even worse in usage, it's still sourced from a source that we should protect.
And that's the thing. We definitely support causes that want to go towards a more environmentally friendly solution.
But do it properly then.
But do it in the proper way. And that's before starting to manufacture or do something, for example, like the material paper. Do your proper research and find the right solution instead of just finding a solution for in between while we're not able to use plastic anymore. This is the time that there are going to be law amendments, that plastic is going to get banned. So this is also the time to put it in again, but in the right way.
And can I ask, because these are like one-time use straws,
single use, correct.
On the market already a lot of straws that you can reuse, so like steel ones or from bamboo. Why did you choose to make single use? Like, is it only possible for single use? Is it a reason why you chose?
Yeah, there are a lot of alternatives on the market nowadays, and what I've seen while doing my field research when I started back in September 2019, a lot of entrepreneurs said in Maastricht, and where we live in the Netherlands, that a lot of reusable alternatives are firstly not hygienic. And secondly, they are afraid that people start
taking
it back home. So imagine you invest for 500 glasses, 500 straws worth €1 per straw, and people start taking it away. You need to buy new ones. While our straws, for example, are 1.6 or 2 cents, and that's what we try to do as well. We want to generate a hygienic but affordable alternative that's good for the environment, but for the wallet as well. And what we saw as well is that people, literally the user, so the customer in a restaurant, for example, would like to generate an experience like the paper straw. It needs to fit on the lips and does not need to stick, for example. And while testing alternatives such as sugarcane, avocado straws, wheat straws, this was my clear winner, simply due to the fact that it's affordable. Of course, it's a bit fragile because it's a wheat stem itself, but that makes me sure and confident that the product will break down in nature as well.
Yeah.
Because we have been testing in Sean's garden that as soon as we put it into the soil, it can be gone within 35 days. And that's amazing because after 21 days we start seeing the results. It was almost gone. You saw some fibers in the ground, and after 35 days it literally looked like it was gone, and it was a nutrient for the soil. So that's why it's a clear winner. Although there are a lot of alternatives ranging on the market from paper to metal or bamboo. I'm pretty convenient. This will be the straw of the future.
So I can so how I understand, it's mostly business to business for you guys.
With the straws, definitely.
With the straws, but I can imagine that maybe people at home also would like to use the straws. Can they still buy like in small amounts? Is that also possible?
That's definitely possible.
Definitely.
Yeah.
On our
maybe
website.
for a party or something.
Of course.
When we can party again.
When we can party, of course. Thinking about the good old times.
Hopefully it will be over soon, and hopefully we will get on top of it soon, and then we will be able to do a lot of environmentally friendly drinks with friends.
Exactly.
So I think today we talked a lot about the waste, the burning, a lot more about the product. So I think we have at least I have a better view now what the product is and how it works. Do you guys want to add anything else?
No, I just want to say that I'm pretty sure that once again the product we're selling at the moment, it's one of the best alternatives regarding to the alternatives on the market. And the most important thing for us is not making money, but make people aware of the fact that we're on the verge of a disaster, and we literally need to do it all together. And we have seen that, and I'm convenient that a little change of many has a bigger impact than one small change of a big corporate. And we just want to add value to people and explain them how it really works on our side, and once again make them aware.
So the final thing that I actually wanted to ask before we end this podcast is what is your goal? What is your final goal? What is the...
Our final goal is definitely to go towards a plastic-free planet within one generation. So in 2035, we do not want to see any more single-use plastic items on this planet. That's
and of course,
goal.
the plastic ban will really help us and influence that. But of course, we understand that entrepreneurs in the hospitality world went through a really hard time and still are.
Definitely.
But we know with our product that it's affordable, that we can inspire people to go over and to make the movement, to move forward and go towards a plastic-free planet within one generation together with us.
Okay, so let's work hard and achieve this goal by 2035.
Exactly.
Definitely.
We need to do it all together, but
I want to thank you again for this interesting conversation.
Yes.
And next time we have like one more topic to discuss, and we're going to talk about the plastic soup and the ocean cleanup, because it's also something that you guys are involved with. But that's for next time.
Looking forward to tell more about our oceans and our passion for scuba diving.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.